Hi, once again, still on the theme of the vintage electrical sockets that were used in the UK. Found another one today, so I thought I'd put it on. Rather interesting one actually. I didn't realise at the time, but it is quite interesting. It's rated at 15 amps, 3 pin. I haven't got the actual plug, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'll give you a bit of history. Take the cover off. That's what we've got inside. Now, interesting to note that the case has an S in a ring, and that stood for a very old firm which was in Wednesbury in Staffordshire. It was William Sanders and Company, and they were established in 1894. They were based at Ridding Lane, called Falcon Electrical Works. Then it became Otter Mill, and I think they actually moved away then. But their trademark is an S in a ring or a circle. And one of their rather unusual plugs is a solid rubber plug with a centre ring which you hook out to terminate the wires. So there's no actual screws, it's just sort of pressed in, and it's virtually watertight. But that goes back a long time as well. I have got one of those plugs, but it's mislaid at the moment, so if it does turn up I will put it on. But there's the S for Sanders. I would say this is probably 1930s, late 30s, 40s. We used this type of socket until the 13 amp ring main was adopted. Now what we've got here is the actual inside. It's on a vitreous base. A lot of these had the word vitreous. Get it a bit closer so we can see what we're looking at. Load of numbers again. Made in England. There's the S for Sanders. 15 amp. Now turning over, once again we have a very heavy duty switch. You look inside there and see the actual contacts. If I throw the switch across, you can see them going across. So once again it's on a heavy spring, and the distance travelled to break is quite great. So this would in fact deal with direct current as well. When you think the modern switch that's in a 13 amp socket is very, very close, the actual movement is very, very small, which if you use DC with it, it will just arc and burn out. A bit closer in there, it's difficult to see how it comes out. I know it normally turns out better than it looks when I'm filming it. But that's the switch and the lovely heavy contacts. You've also got on where the wires go, that's your live, which goes through the switch. The other side of the switch goes to the other pin under there, to connect across. And on the other side, your neutral terminates in there, and you've got earth, which is the large pin. Now what's rather interesting is, and I didn't realise it at the time, if you try to put a plug in with the switch in the on position, it won't work. Now at the moment it's on. If you note, you see a little lever there It sticks out, so I can point to there. That lever prevents the opening of the shielded part to the other sockets. Now, normally you'd put a plug in there. The earth pin would operate, and you would allow the shields to open. But at the moment you can't, because that piece of metal prevents it. So if we turn the switch off, and in England up is invariably off, which is different to other parts of the world. In America it's the other way around, I know. So let's turn it. By doing that, I've actually turned it off. Now we watch that lever as I turn it across. I'll get out the light so you can see what I'm doing. It goes across, so that's off at the moment. And when it's off, when the earth pin goes in there, you simply open up the contacts where you expose it. It's a little bit tricky to do, but it's opening up now. And by putting the pin in, it'll expose it all the way. If I do it manually, you can see what happens. This must have been one of the first sockets that had this idea. I've never come across it before. I believe there is another maker called Crabtree which had an ingenious way of holding the plug in if it was turned on, but I haven't got one of those, so I can't show you. But anyhow, that's the little socket. It's a bit of history. As I say, you wouldn't be allowed to use these now, but there we are. It's well made. It's vitreous. The little black parts are where the screws that hold the various components on are actually screwed through, and they're sealed with a kind of, it's not wax, but it's some kind of sealing medium which holds it all in. So that's the 15 amp socket, 3 pin, with the cover going on like so, and the screws in there. The completed job. No guessing to where I got it. Today's Wednesday, and Wednesday is a boot sale day at Wimbledon, so that's where it came from. Anyhow, once again, thanks for looking. Any questions, please ask, please subscribe, and thank you again. Thank you.